All right, we are recording. My name is Jenny. I go by the pronouns she, her. I'm here with the Peer Power Project as a peer educator with my coworker, Sage, just waving there on the screen. And I know we've seen most of you all day, or we actually know all of you here. So good stuff. I'd like to bring a warm welcome to Cory. Cory is an awesome human who, alongside of being an advocate of homelessness with lived experience, public speaking, and is a program developer for an organization called the Existence Project. He's also a YouTuber and a recording artist named Sincere Music. You can find on iTunes and Spotify. Check it out. So yeah, Sage is gonna share her screen to show the documentary that Cory is featured in.
Can you see it big? Is it big for you?
I think it's as big as it's gonna be, I think.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Okay, awesome. Let me know if you can. I'm just gonna play a little bit and make sure everyone can hear it.
I've always for a long.
Good. Did it work? Did you hear it?
Yeah. Okay.
It's
a bit scratchy, but maybe.
Okay.
Can you do it again?
I've always, for a long time since I lived in Hamilton, listened to Cory Resilient because he's from Toronto.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind Drake. You know, I started to like his music after a while. You know, I started to like, how he was kind of resilient too because people were hating on him so much. Right? So this is one of the.
My name is Cory Resilient. That's what I go by. Basically, I came up with that name like about 3 years ago. It started because I was making music. I'm mostly known as Sincere Music. That's what I've always had, that alias, that name.
And then this was the spot right here. You know, I had a big tent.
I was in a tent in Beacon Hill Park. I got a tent. I got a blow-up mattress. I got 20 pillows. Took a cab from Value Village with all my stuff to Beacon Hill Park with all this ball and ass. If you're gonna be homeless in a tent, trust me, I'm gonna do it the best way possible. I had music that was doing really good, and I was advertising some of my music videos and stuff like that. And so I felt like I was doing good and I was building something, and then boom, I lost that. So then I was upset about that. So I started a YouTube channel, and I was going through, homelessness and stuff like that. And I was experiencing systematic corruption, and I kind of just broke down, and I had this idea, in my head, it was don't give up, you know what I mean, type thing, be resilient. And then I was oh, Cory Resilient. I was yeah, I'm resilient, I'm not gonna give up type thing, right? I just kind of took on the name, and I was it's a lifestyle now where, it's just to be resilient, really,
Pick yourself up. I agree, there's something that I need. Before I leave this earth, there's something I gotta see. Things that I never did.
When I made that song, I was going to jail and stuff like that. I was going through a lot of, dark times in my life. I just went harder with the music. That was a lot of pain to go through, So instead of doing whatever, I went to the music. That's what I like about it, is that there is a way to either let something destroy you or build you up, right? And I enjoy that process of, even if I take loss or go through hard times, that I have that ability to do that. And that's my piece, is the music.
Rest in peace, Douglas Wiegand.
Growing up, mostly from when I was young, an infant, up until.
As for homelessness, people just see homelessness. They just see homeless people. They don't know the personal side of those individuals, and there's a lot of stigma around that, you know what I mean, and misunderstanding and confusion. So I mean, showing the human side of somebody that I was homeless. You know what I mean? I was in homeless shelters. I was in tents. You know what I mean? I've been homeless all over the country. I've been on my own since I was 14 years old. That's when it started for me, homelessness. But I mean, if you just watch that video, you might not even think that person's ever been homeless before. You know what I mean? I'm just somebody, I like making music. I'm just like anybody else. You know what I mean? And I think that goes for, the rest of the homeless population. You know, there's a human side to everybody that people need to understand, that could be your cousin, your brother, you know what I mean? And that will bring more compassion, I think, you know, and understanding. So there's stigmas that are blocking people from getting out of homelessness, and, you know, systematic issues that are stopping people from being able to prosper out of homelessness. And also, yeah, just showing the human side, you know, to people that are out there suffering, you know, struggling. You're muted now, Sage.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I think Jenny has the next question.
Yeah. Thanks for everything so far. That was pretty incredible to watch. And just like, I don't know, I love your music. I was definitely getting down and grooving, and that was sweet. So yeah, my question, you moved here from Toronto and you've made a lot of connections on the coast here. So we're wondering what you have found effective in building good relationships and finding yourself out here.
Honestly, that started happening for me when I decided to reach out for help and go to Amwin House, and basically connected with Marco from the Existence Project. That's what kind of opened that world up for me. It's basically just reaching out for help, getting connected with, you know, supports in the community. You know, we self-isolate when we go through homelessness, and when you have trauma and you're used to stigma, you don't trust in anything anymore. So I just, you know, I had faith and hope that there was still a way for me to make it in this world and be a part of the world, you know, and that happened through organizations like Amwin House and the Existence Project.
Yeah, it sounds like it took like a lot of courage, and you found Anawim House and the Existence Project, and thanks for making that possible too. The Existence Project, Marco, the documentary. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Jasmine just said in the chat that she found you on Spotify and is downloading now, downloading now the Existence Project podcasts. So that's awesome.
Yes.
The next question that I wanted to ask you is, what have been some of the most helpful resources you have used to get where you are now?
Yeah, you know, it goes back to, honestly, Amwin House and again, like the Existence Project. If it wasn't for those two organizations, then I don't know, I would probably still be homeless right now. I probably wouldn't be making the progression that I'm making in my life right now. So, I mean, there needs to be more of that, you know, and there's literally nothing other, you know, those Amwin House really stands out. I haven't been able to find any other resource like that really helped me get to where I need to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. Thank you.
Yeah.
What's next for you, and how can we all support you? How can the community support you, and people at Anawim House, or etc.?
You know, I basically just take it one day at a time right now. It's a new thing that I've learned, because I'm always panicking about what am I going to do next month? What am I going to do here? What's going to happen to my life? And am I going to go back to homelessness? I mean, it's really just one day at a time, and learning how to heal, you know, from trauma and things that I've been through, and basically reprogram myself. You know, I'm going to get back into music again, you know, and just continue what I've been doing. You know, I'm just going to keep growing in every way possible, and implement myself wherever I can be useful, you know, and just try to grow in that way.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And yeah, Cory, as his name suggests, is super resilient. So we love talking to him every chance we get, and we just wanted to open it up and see if anybody else had any questions for him, or comments that they wanted to share. Now, you can also put it in the chat. I'm watching the chat.
Marco, you raised your hand?
Yeah. Okay.
Hey man, how you doing?
What's going on?
I was curious, who are your biggest hip hop influences?
Yeah, I mean, when I was young, it was like Tupac, Eminem, you know, Biggie Smalls, like Wu-Tang. I'm like a fan of like the 90s hip hop vibe. KRS-One, like really like way back. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, who else could I say? Just the main guys that stood out to me back then was like Tupac. It was that whole vibe and stuff like that. That was one of my biggest inspirations. He was like he was revolutionary type individual, you know. So yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, thanks for
And
the. Oh,
go ahead. You go ahead, Jenny.
I was just gonna say thanks for the question, and then yeah, Ben said in the chat, great stuff. Love the doc and Tupac for life.
That's what's up, man. Thug life.
Yeah. Ben's in Toronto, aren't you?
Oh yeah, okay, all right.
Is that right?
That's what's up.
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah, we have a few people from Toronto joining
Okay.
us. Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious, like, how did you get into making music in the first place?
I remember just, you know, being a kid sitting on the floor, like right up close to the TV like this, like you're not supposed to. And just basically, you know, seeing much music and hearing music. I was immediately drawn to music, just naturally as a kid. It just was a natural experience for me. Like, and yeah, I just started kind of, it was something that everybody wanted to do, and it's, you know, it's cool, like it's fun, it's a way to vent, you know, it's a way to be social with other people. You know, when I was 14, I started freestyling and hanging out you know, with my homies or whatever, and we're all just rapping and freestyling. And then I got more serious, and I wanted to be more structured with what I'm doing and the music I'm creating, so I started writing. And it just continued on. It just became, you know, the core piece of my life. Really, it was is in who I am, you know. Sincere music. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Did it help you a lot getting through stuff, having the music?
Yeah, I honestly don't know what honestly would have happened to me if it wasn't for that outlet, if it wasn't for that, all the things that happened to me in my life. I turned it into a song, and then once I sat there and I heard the song back, it was like the weight lifted off of my chest, and that whatever I just went through, I conquered it, and I you know, I overcame it somehow by turning it into a positive thing by making a song. And that empowered me, and I just kept, you know, and encouraged me, and it gave me you know, confidence in myself. And it opened up opportunities for me in my life, you know what I mean? So that's, I just kept going. That's my passion, right? We all have a passion, and that's what it was for me. And it helped me get through everything.
Yeah, totally. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Douglas said that this speaks to the current discussions around police reform and how we put resources into kicking people to the curb due to lack of resources instead of like giving them the care. And he says that it's a brilliant piece, Cory. So
100%.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, I really love how you spoke to those bigger issues of like chronic homelessness, and it's just a systemic problem, and like having that kind of insight too, and being able to speak to it in the way that you do. And I know doing work with the Existence Project as a program developer is really like addressing those exact things. So I just commend you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I think Marco had his hand up.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So I don't want to take over here, but I'm curious about like with the where you're going, because you're actually getting involved in housing stuff too, right? And you have a lot of visions for how housing could work, and I'd love to hear a little bit about like what you're doing as far as your independent work with housing, or your views, housing solutions, like for people that are homeless right now.
Yeah, I think yeah, I seen there's like a course that you can take, which is recognized by like Victoria Foundation or something like that. I'm not sure, but it's like Rent Smart or something like that. So I'm going to be doing that. And yeah, some things about housing, like, you know, I mean, when I was homeless, you know, people didn't want to rent to me. You know what I mean? So that's an issue, and it's creating more homelessness and creating people that have to go back to their old way of life because they can't progress in that direction. And one thing I remember was like going to the housing agencies and stuff like that. You know, when you're homeless, the first thing you're thinking is like, okay, I need to get a place. Like I need to get a job, I need to get a place. So it's like I would go to those agencies and they would just tell me, oh, here's a printout of Kijiji and Craigslist. You know, I'm like, well, I could have did that by myself. You know, I don't know why you're sitting there getting paid 8 hours a day for to just, you know, give me Craigslist and Kijiji listings. I thought that they would build relationships with landlords and then build a relationship with the individual that's going through homelessness, so that way they can get to know the person and connect the two and get people housed, you know, where it's not, the landlord doesn't have to fear so much. So, I mean, I have like a whole huge thing that I wrote out around housing, and that would help, you know, better the quality of homelessness. Basically, it would offer people a real opportunity. Um, yeah. So, sorry, I didn't want to go off for too long. About that.
No, it's perfect.
Yeah.
You're good. There's lots of good comments in the chat there. I was wondering about like what you would say to folks. Like, I know we've talked a lot about stigma. Like we talked about stigma in the Peer Power Project before, and I'm just wondering, like, is there something that you think people kind of need to do to like help, like, better educate themselves, or is there some sort of like what do you think like we need to do for stigma around this issue? I guess, like, what would be your top suggestion? It's a big question, I know.
Well, I mean, like if it's the community, if it's people in the community, and maybe people that haven't, I don't know, engaged with homeless people, like, you know, people with lived experience and stuff, like that needs to happen. There's a huge disconnect, right? And that's what Marco was saying, and that's why he created the Existence Project, was to create that connection from people that are housed with the people that are living in the street, that are going through homelessness, and connecting the two, and making that first connection, because that's one of the first things that needs to happen, is that disconnect needs to be removed for people to understand and have compassion, or come up with solutions, or be willing to come up with solutions, or contribute. And then it's just awareness after that. It's just, talking to people that have experience, and talking to the people in their community, and people that they know that are in a position of power. Maybe somebody they know is in government, who knows? It's just expanding that idea and washing away that stigma that's been laid out over the last however many years, you know what I mean? So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in the chat, Mary Kay says, what a strength of character, not having a situation or circumstance to define you. So responsive to real needs, allowing your suffering to inform the work you're doing. It's amazing. And then Sandy says, have you considered taking your music and gifts to the hotels and shelters? This would be incredibly valuable to folks there.
Yeah, I mean, there's different kinds of artists, right? Like you see the guy that might be in front of the mall that with a speaker and a microphone. I'm not that kind of a guy, you know what I mean? Like I make music, I go to the studio, I make music videos, I put it out there. But I mean, when you have a connection also to the street and history in the street, it's really hard for me to do that, especially when you're struggling. You have to get yourself right in order to get back to your craft. And that's what I'm trying to do. I haven't been able to make music in a long time because I was homeless, and I can't afford to make music, and I can't afford to do what I'm passionate about. So I had to find a way that I could, advance myself in this world, and somewhere I belong, where I could earn and get back to making music. But I everybody I come across, I tell them about my music, and I try to, empower them, empower people musically, through my music. Like it's pretty emotional. It's pretty deep. Me still being prosperous after going through everything that I went through in my life, and then people hearing that in the music is the empowering thing for people already. That's what's like makes them feel like, yo, if he can do that and he came out of this and he overcame this, then, and I'm hearing this song, this is amazing. It's motivating me. I believe that I can make it out too. I can do this. And it gives people confidence that the system takes out of you. The system takes it out of you. Society takes it out of you. The stigmas, you know, all the negativity portrayed towards people that are going through homelessness or addiction and things of that nature. Yeah, music is an empowering thing, and I try to use it the best that I can to empower others. You know, so, well, that's a good idea though, and maybe I might, something might happen in the future where that might become a thing. You know, so appreciate that, Sandy.
I would say your music is already incredibly successful. I mean, just the way that it does touch people, and it, you know, sometimes you can't see the ways that it does influence people to make decisions, and who knows how many lives you've touched in a positive way that have inspired them on their journey. So I just think it's very, thanks.
For sure, 100%. Yeah.
Jesse said that you inspire him. So
Thanks, Jesse.
it's really nice.
Appreciate you guys.
Is there any other questions or comments?
Okay, last one for me, but I got one for one last one for you, Cory, because I know, you know, you're developing your skills in multiple ways, and I wonder, like, you know, you've looked at being a peer support worker, you've looked at doing more public speaking, and I'm wondering, you know, from an employment perspective, if anyone is out there listening, like, is there anywhere where you would want to work, or you think you'd be valuable to help out?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just discovering, you know, those potentials, right? For the first time in my life, I never thought that I could possibly, you know, be able to work in a field based off of what I've been through in my life, like lived experience, or somewhere that I can bring value and help people and empower people. It's usually always just been go work at Tim Hortons, go do construction, go do labor, and that's it for you. Like there's nothing else that's ever gonna happen. Like where I come from, you know, like people don't really even have jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like it's poverty, you know what I mean? But it's like yeah, I mean, I'm excited to learn what's out there and somewhere that I could put myself in and, you know, make a living and earn for myself and help people at the same time and use my potential that I have versus just, you know, a job that is just basic. But I mean, we got to do what we got to do to survive. But yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, I did the peer support program now. So, I mean, maybe that's a possibility. There's potential there for that, you know. I feel like something is going to present itself, you know, and I'm going to go with it and I'm going to be in the right place at the right time when it happens. And we'll see where it goes from there, you know. Yeah.
Thanks, Cory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry, one last thing, Cory. If someone wants to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. Thanks for bringing
Marco.
that up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can like leave my email in the chat too. Like it's coryresilient@gmail.com, and like my YouTube channel and Facebook. I have a Facebook page. I'm on like all social media platforms and stuff like that. Obviously people can contact the Existence Project to reach me and stuff like that, or Marco. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm putting all the links in the chat right now.
Thanks. Thanks.
Thanks, Cory. Anything, any last words or any last things you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to thank you guys, you know, for having me and everybody for coming to listen and watch my documentary. And just want to thank Marco from the Existence Project, you know, for, you know, bringing me into the organization and helping me, empowering me out of my situation. And I'm just grateful to have good people in my life. So I just hope to see more of that. And I hope that people take something from this and you know, try to create more awareness, you know, and yeah, that's all I can ask for. So appreciate it. everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been amazing having you. So yeah, Cory participated in our peer leadership series, and that ended it, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and yeah, definitely made us laugh through the whole time, and definitely inspired us with his authenticity and just the way that he showed up as himself all the time, and always showed up, you know, no matter what. So yeah, it was definitely a pleasure to have you work with us, Cory, and for you to be willing to come back and answer more questions. So
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
sweet.
Thank you. Yeah, I second that. It was so lovely, and thank you so much for being here as well. It was so awesome to get to know you. I've shared all the links in the chat there, and yeah, you can watch the YouTube video again if without lag if anyone wants to do that. So sorry for that again, but thank you so much.
I'd recommend, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You guys can find
Check
the
it.
documentary on the Existence Project YouTube channel.
Mhm.
Okay. Sweet.
Mhm. Check it out.
Yeah.
Share with your friends.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'll also be posting it all in the Google Doc for future. So the sharing document that we got going on. So thank you, everyone. Yeah, if there's any final questions, definitely send them our way and we can send them along. But yeah, great job, Cory. Thanks for sharing. Thank you. Thank you. I guess we have a little bit of a break until Sandy goes at 2:15. Is that our
Mhm.
break? Yeah. So yeah, a little bit of a break right now, and then we'll come back at 2:15 and do some creative writing. So if you want to join us for that, it'll be super great. And yeah, thank you. I'm gonna stop recording.